I caught my wife cheating 2 years ago and haven't stopped her. On a fateful day, in October 2020, during my lunch break, I embarked on a leisurely drive that led me back to my own home. To my surprise, as I pulled up, I noticed an unexpected sight. The garage door was wide open, and both my wife's car and an unfamiliar vehicle were parked inside. Curiosity tinged with unease prompted me to park across the street and cautiously make my way inside through the garage entrance, which conveniently lay beneath the bedrooms of our split-level house. As soon as I stepped into the garage, an unmistakable sound pierced the air, emanating from the spare bedroom located directly above me. The rhythmic bouncing of the bed and muffled noises left no room for doubt. It was the unmistakable sound of intimacy. In that moment, a whirlwind of emotions swirled within me, but surprisingly, anger did not consume me. Instead, I stood there, almost incredulous, trying to comprehend the reality unfolding before my ears. Maintaining utmost silence, I cautiously opened the door leading into the house and stealthily ascended the steps, treading softly. From the top of the steps, I could see down the hall and noticed shadows on the wall outside the first bedroom, not my bedroom, in the hallway. I could hear lots of groaning and dirty talk coming from her, and I quietly made my way back down the steps, through the garage, and out to my car. I parked on a side street and observed them leave. Approximately 15 minutes elapsed before they nonchalantly emerged into the broad daylight. The peculiar aspect of this situation is that despite this unsettling incident, our marriage has thrived in an extraordinary manner. It remains a paragon of happiness and fulfillment. We maintain a passionate connection, engaging in intimate moments almost every night, and our love for each other is unwavering. Together we raise our 3 beautiful children, and life, by all accounts, is undeniably good. Curiously enough, in the intervening years, I have found myself sporadically checking in on our home during daylight hours. It became apparent that the same car would appear 2 to 3 times per month, a telltale sign of ongoing clandestine meetings. Strangely, I have come to terms with this situation, accepting it to some extent, as if it were a part of the unconventional dynamics of our relationship. Oh, and I have also identified the person involved. I had a friend in the police run the license plate, and it turns out to be one of her former boyfriends from college who is now married. As of now, my plan is to be honest with her if she ever discovers the situation. I will let her know that I am okay with it, because our marriage is incredibly strong. If this is what she feels she needs to do to maintain our perfect marriage, I am willing to accept it, without causing any conflict. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Has anyone else been in a similar situation? Am I being unusual in my response? Update: I'm amazed by the wide range of conversations I've had today. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed to this discussion. I intend to go through the entire exchange again today and tomorrow, but I would greatly appreciate any further insights you may have to offer. The count of opinions in favor of telling her versus not telling her left me perplexed. I had not anticipated such an evenly divided response. To be honest, I wasn't entirely sure what I was expecting, given the circumstances. However, I am overflowing with gratitude towards all of you who dedicated your time to share your valuable thoughts. As I reflect on the discussions, I find myself inclined towards the idea of telling her, albeit in a gradual manner. If I choose this path, I will prioritize leading with love and approach the situation with immense care. Throughout the day, I have been profoundly touched by overwhelming waves of love for her and our life together. Every day, I am filled with awe by her incredible presence, and I find myself waking up with a profound sense of gratitude for the opportunity to be by her side. Even throughout the past 2 years, during which I've become aware of her actions and intentions, my appreciation for waking up next to her remains unwavering. Update: tonight she's exuding an incredibly infectious and joyous energy. With laughter filling the air, she gracefully prepares dinner, indulging in a glass of wine while engaging in delightful conversations. Meanwhile, I've had an eventful day filled with unexpected twists and turns. Yet her presence reminds me of a carefree spirit like Lodita. Witnessing her in this state is absolutely adorable, highlighting just how remarkable and captivating she truly is. I found myself immersed in a perpetual cycle of scrolling through Reddit, consumed by negative news and endless information for approximately 17 out of the past 24 hours. It's time for me to consciously step away from my phone and take a moment to reflect on things. Are you doing alright? Update, November 18th, 2020. Well, I woke up at 4 a.m., so I might as well type this out. The last month or so has been a whirlwind for me. First, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the tremendous amount of supportive messages I received from this sub. There were so many amazing pieces of advice when I wrote the post. There was uncertainty within me about whether I would ever gather the courage to share my feelings with her. However, a series of events unfolded in the past few weeks that left me convinced it was time. The motivation behind my previous post was partly fueled by my readiness to initiate a conversation with her, yet I was unsure about the right approach. Thankfully, a serendipitous moment presented itself last week, providing me with the perfect opportunity to express myself. In the weeks following my post, I found myself consumed by thoughts, endlessly searching for clues about her daily routine. On a few occasions, they arranged to meet either on a Tuesday or a Thursday, consistently choosing my house as their meeting place. Curiously, these encounters were rather brief, lasting only around 30 to 40 minutes. Each time, she would send me a text in the late morning asking how my day was going. This message served as a signal for me to confirm my presence at work, prompting me to swiftly make my way to my car. I would then drive up a side street, finding a vantage point from which I could observe my house from afar. After discreetly observing them enter the house, I would make my way over to their location. Inside, I couldn't help but hear unmistakable sounds emanating from the guest bedroom, hinting at the nature of their rendezvous. On one occasion, after they had departed, I took the opportunity to cautiously enter the house, only to find the sound of the laundry machine running in the guest bedroom. Moreover, I noticed that the bed had been made with a fresh sheet, indicating recent activity. Later that day, as I accompanied one of my children to their dance lesson, I returned home to find that the fresh sheet had been neatly put away in the hall closet, as if everything had been restored to its previous state. I couldn't help but observe her phone usage patterns as well. During our family time, she appeared to be consciously avoiding her phone, prioritizing the present moment. However, I couldn't help but notice that on Sunday nights, while she engaged in weightlifting sessions in her basement, she occasionally indulged in brief moments on her phone between sets. My own behavior of closely monitoring her actions began to weigh heavily on my conscience. However, this past Thursday, a seemingly destined chain of events unfolded, presenting me with a clear and decisive opportunity. An opportunity that felt like a now or never moment for me to take action. Around 10:30 in the morning, I received a text message that set everything into motion. Without wasting a moment, I hastily made my way to the car and arrived at my house by approximately 10:45. Typically, they tended to arrive at around 11 o'clock. Since my wife starts her workday at 6:30 a.m., she has an earlier lunch break. This allowed for a relatively predictable time frame for their meetings. On this particular occasion, he arrived promptly at 11 o'clock, but there was a slight delay in her arrival. It wasn't until 11:05 that she finally made her way to the rendezvous point. As per their usual routine, they entered through the garage, leaving it open just as they always did. To summarize briefly, I entered the house and nearly got caught. However, the occupants arrived later than expected. Arrived later than their usual time and seemed to be in a rush. Upon re-entering the house after they left, I noticed that the sheets in the spare bedroom had not been changed, and the laundry room still contained a sheet, a pair of panties, and a set of scrubs, lab pants, and a shirt that hadn't been started. It felt as though I had little control over the situation. I initiated the laundry cycle, took a moment to relax with a cup of coffee, and transferred the clothes to the dryer after about 30 minutes. Then I resumed my work. Later that day, I accompanied one of my children to their dance class and returned home around 6:30 p.m., only to find my wife in a state of utter frenzy. My wife tightly grasped my arms, her body trembling with anxiety. She gazed into my eyes, seeking answers, and asked, "Did something happen today?" Meeting her gaze, I reassured her with heartfelt sincerity. Yes, I love you. Everything is fine. We'll discuss everything thoroughly. I love you, and it's okay. I promise. I planted a gentle kiss on her lips, and in an attempt to lighten the mood, we playfully engaged in a brief moment of intimacy in the bathroom. Later, I prepared dinner, and together we assisted the kids with their homework and bedtime routine, just like any other evening. Once the children were tucked in bed, we delved into a serious conversation that lasted approximately 5 hours on Thursday night. It began with her asking me, "How much do you know?" I honestly acknowledged that I knew a significant amount, but certainly not everything. I assured her that I harbored no anger or resentment towards her. She expressed that she had been consumed by worry and anxiety, devoting every waking moment from the time she discovered the laundry until I arrived home, fearing that I would walk in and declare my intention to divorce her. I provided reassurance, emphasizing that such a thought had never crossed my mind. Naturally, she remained deeply unsettled by the situation. She immediately confessed to everything, clearly distraught and upset. However, I managed to calm her down, and we engaged in some deeply meaningful conversations. Recognizing the need for privacy and uninterrupted time together, we both agreed that a weekend alone would be beneficial. Fortunately, my mother-in-law graciously offered to take care of the kids for the entire weekend. It works out perfectly since the kids enjoy their time there, indulging in Papa John's pizza and Snickers ice cream bars, making it an exciting experience for them. To summarize what I learned, the situation unfolded as follows. Their involvement began in 2005, 5 years before I even knew her. They had previously dated in 1996, but their relationship was not particularly strong. Although the physical aspect was satisfying, they reconnected after he had been married for 3 to 4 years. And that's when the affair started. While she was single at the time, he was already married. According to her account, she confessed that she would have been satisfied with continuing the affair for several years. During that time, she casually dated other people while also engaging in a relationship with him. She went on to pursue her career as a doctor, completed her residency, and enjoyed traveling, ultimately leading a fulfilling life. However, when she met me a decade ago, everything changed. The intensity of her love for me complicated her previously settled equation. She wholeheartedly devoted herself to me, yet she continued the affair due to what she described as an unbreakable emotional connection. Regarding their sexual chemistry, she assured me that our children are undoubtedly mine. I had never really doubted it, especially since they didn't engage in intercourse while we were actively trying to conceive. It's important to note that he and his wife have a strong, fulfilling marriage with a healthy sexual relationship, and my wife is not trying to rescue him from a lackluster bedroom situation. His wife remains unaware of their affair. Their interactions primarily revolve around casual greetings, inquiries about life, and discussions about their respective children. Their connection is not deeply emotional or intense. She reiterated multiple times that if they had intended to pursue a genuine relationship, they would have done so long before she and I even met. Certainly, the details I provided are just a summary, and there is more to the situation. Additionally, over the weekend when the kids were away, we had an intimate connection and engaged in sexual activities multiple times. I made it explicitly clear to her that I am comfortable with her continuing the relationship with him if it brings her happiness. My love for her remains unwavering, and I find immense joy in seeing her happy, even if this affair predates our marriage. Naturally, she was taken aback by my response. Furthermore, I assured her that the decision of whether or not to disclose my knowledge to him was entirely up to her. She pondered this for a day, carefully weighing her options, and ultimately chose to inform him about my awareness of their affair. In support of her decision, I even suggested that she could invite him over this past Sunday morning if she wished to have the conversation with him. To facilitate their conversation, I decided to go for a long run, allowing them the opportunity to talk openly. After my run, I picked up the kids, and upon returning home, he had already left, just as we had planned. When we arrived, my wife greeted the children, but I could see that she had been crying. The kids went off to play, and I knew my wife's strength, as she is a weightlifter and possesses impressive physical abilities. We often engage in Muay Thai. In Muay Thai holds in bed, and I am fully aware that she could overpower me in a matter of seconds. With a firm grip, she held my head on both sides of my face, her grip tight. In that moment, tears streamed down both our faces uncontrollably, as if a dam had burst. Locking her gaze with mine, she uttered words that penetrated deep into my heart. "You have to listen to me. I will never ever leave you. My love for you is unwavering, and you know it well." Overwhelmed with emotion, I sobbed like a baby. After collecting herself, she proceeded to recap our conversation, sharing the details of our discussion. She initiated the conversation by reassuring me to remain calm, emphasizing that everything was fine. However, she felt it was important to disclose that I was aware of their affair and had been for quite some time. I responded with a simple "okay." She then informed me that the possibility of continuing their relationship would be on the table. However, she made it clear that by the end of our conversation, if I couldn't trust her, she would end the affair with him. Again, I responded with a simple "okay." She proceeded to communicate to me the details of what she knew, leading to a conversation that lasted several hours. On Sunday afternoon, she checked in with me and I reassured her that I was doing fine. I expressed my trust in her, acknowledging that if she had harbored any malicious intentions towards me, my life would have been significantly impacted a long time ago. I also sent a message through her, expressing my trust in her and hoping that she would reciprocate that trust. I wanted her to know in her heart that I had no intention of disrupting or taking away what we have. I assured her that I would never try to take her away from her husband, emphasizing my trust in her and requesting the same in return. She agreed to my proposal, accepting the trust I placed in her. In the aftermath of our conversation, my wife has been remarkably open and communicative, as she always has been, but with a newfound depth. She has expressed a sense of relief in the past couple of days, feeling a weight lifted off her shoulders. Furthermore, she has demonstrated her love for me in countless ways, reaffirming the strength of our bond. As this revelation is still fresh and new for her, my wife is experiencing moments of struggle and adjustment. In contrast, I have been living with this knowledge for years, which may explain why I appear to be more accepting of the situation. I told her I'm fine because we're together, and I know she's in this with me. She said yes, she is, and that brings us up to date. Thank you for listening to the story to the end, and if you like it, please support us with a like, as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about the story.